You want to? How do we? I forgot how we started these. Do we just say hi and?
I think it's just like you're Charlie and I'm Nick. And then we go.
Okay.
I'm Nick.
You're Nick. Okay, so you're Nick.
Wait. Let's do that again. I'm ready to talk summer movies. How
All
about
right.
you?
I'm so ready, Nick.
Oh,
So
man.
I grabbed some movies out of the collection that more made me think of summer, made me feel like summer, rather than just summer release blockbusters.
Good call.
And I'm going to do these in pairs because I picked a lot of them.
Okay, I've got a couple to mention in case you don't have the laserdisc handy.
Okay.
That I feel like say summer to me.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to start with one of my favorite summer traditions, baseball. And these are two 90s baseball movies that meant a lot to me.
Yes.
We got The Sandlot for the boys, A League of Their Own for the ladies.
The Sandlot was on my list, so I'm very glad to see that
cool.
right out of the gate.
Sandlot is a classic. I was just the right age. You and I are probably the same age. We were just the right age for The Sandlot. It's very nostalgic. It's one of those where it's nostalgic for a time we never lived in. It's like, oh, I'm suddenly nostalgic for the 50s.
I'm just nostalgic for playing baseball with people,
I think that has a lot to do with it. Growing up as a young man, just playing in the dirt and stuff. League of Their Own, though, I think is honestly a really great baseball movie.
That's the better of those two films, but,
This one is one of those where I look at it and I go like, oh, this is probably my favorite Madonna performance, favorite John Lovett's, favorite, Bill Pullman's in this thing, Rosie O'Donnell, and the Tom Hanks performance is like
it's fantastic. There's no crying in baseball.
No crying in iconic, right? Iconic.
Yeah.
So man, I miss baseball right now, big time.
Oh, me too.
So
Good call.
I'm gonna have to put those on and watch them. All right. Next up, here's an actor who makes me think of summer movies.
Okay.
And I think this will be this actor's debut on Laser Discourse. It's Patrick Swayze.
Oh.
And we're talking Dirty Dancing, which takes place in the summer of 1963.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And I love these covers with just like they clearly just took the VHS cover and like put like, here, we'll fill out the space with a
same
laser
size
disc.
and that exactly. so not lazy at all, right?
It's beautiful.
Love it.
But then, when I think of summer, I think of surfing and Point Break and Robin Banks and jumping out of airplanes. If you haven't seen this movie, man, it is as advertised, 100% pure adrenaline. That's the summer to me, man. It's actually directed by Catherine Bigelow, once married to James Cameron. She won the Oscar for Hurt Locker, directing The Hurt Locker.
I did not know she also directed Point Blank.
She did. She directed Near Dark. She directed Point Break. She did a cool movie called Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis as a cop, which I've got on the LD.
Wait, is that where Derek Zoolander got his look from?
Exactly. Yeah, big time. 100%. All right, next up, I got a pair of, when I think of summer vacation, I also think of National Lampoon's Vacation.
Again, that was on my list. I'm so glad we are right there.
Vacation.
On the same wavelength. Very cool.
I really love these covers. Not only do I love just the drawn version, I love the kind of 80s retro bordering that happens on these laser discs.
Yeah.
Both on Vacation and on European Vacation.
They're so epic.
Such a good set, right? Like the perfect like boom boom.
Yeah.
I love when they do this. And Chevy Chase, man, the guy might be a crank now, but he was...
That might have been the height of his powers, right?
He was like the dad of the 80s summer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was that snarky dad that everybody kind of loved but kind of hated, but he was there nonetheless.
Great dad, and then he's in things like Three Amigos at the same time, and is just like, I don't know. Love Chevy in the 80s. The Flint... All right, here we go with tropical movies, I guess. Tropical comedies. I got a couple of summertime tropical comedies. We got some glare here,
Thank you.
So
We're us like, are you in my brain right now? Good God, man.
We know what the summer is. So Captain Ron is one of the funniest, stupidest movies I've ever seen. But stupider still, Weekend at Bernie's. Maybe the dumbest movie of all time, right?
It's so good, though. I mean, who would have thought you could get 90 minutes out of making a dead guy look real? And yet there we are.
On the beach. Yeah, so these, just because they take place like on the beach, in the tropical waters.
Well, the Weekend at Bernie's, I want to point out, is in the Hamptons. So I mean, you've even got the rich, yuppie crowd there.
Maybe do they go tropical in the sequel? I don't have the sequel on Laserdisc.
The sequel, I believe, they go to like Jamaica, or there's something involved. Maybe it's New York. Yeah, something like that, right?
I was I was up awake at night the other night thinking, like, how did they do a sequel to Weekend at Bernie's?
I mean, why not?
The dead body stayed around. All right. I don't know.
He's still dead. He's still stinky. There you go.
Oh my God! I can't believe they did it. But
I know I can't either. And yet,
you know what?
It's a great film.
It kind of works, right? It kind of works. These are some summer releases. I want to talk about a few of these movies because director Joel Schumacher passed away recently. I want to talk about director Joel Schumacher real quick because he was a summertime movie guy. So in 1987 or so, he released The Lost Boys, which is mostly, if you don't know, Nick, takes place on the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
I do. They actually, in Santa Cruz, on the boardwalk, they have an homage to movies filmed in Santa Cruz.
Oh, nice.
And that's one of them. And my favorite line, of course, is "Death by stereo," before he throws the stereo into the puddle, and you know the rest.
It's brilliant. It's the first movie with both Coreys in it, I think, too.
The
two Coreys was a thing, in the in the late 80s. This might be the first one. And you got your Alex Winter from Bill and Ted showing up there, too. Love The Lost Boys.
By the way, Bill and Ted 3, got to see it.
Oh, I'm very excited. Very excited about the Bill and Ted. But, the Batman movies I want to talk about real quick because Joel Schumacher comes on and does Batman Forever. And I'm not going to defend Batman and Robin. It's not a good movie.
It's a bad movie. I would say it's not even not good. It's just like there were decisions made where you're like, it would have been better if you did nothing.
Yeah, it was bad. But but for me, they hold those moments in my memory of seeing these movies in the summer. Mm-hmm. Like this was right about the age where my parents would start dropping me off at the movies rather than going in with me.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing Batman Forever at the 3rd Street Cinemas there in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
With my little brother. I'm probably 12, 13, he's a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing the movie, this, on the big screen, that summer, 95.
It's a summer memory for sure.
It's a big summer memory, and movies, are big summer memories for me. So, and I have my last two are two of the biggest, at least one of the biggest. You can't have a summer without Independence Day.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Look, all right, you alien assholes.
I love the Gateful.
Yours. That's what I'm saying.
Now, this movie to me, all right, so you know how Schwarzenegger's got the "I'll be back" in every movie, right? And like certain people, they got like catchphrases.
Yeah.
They tried to give Jeff Goldblum a reoccurring catchphrase because in another summer classic, Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum famously says, "Must go faster, must go faster."
And he uses
to
that
try to escape from the T-Rex, and then he
doesn't
says
work.
The same thing about the alien ship in this one. And even I have such a distinct memory of being in the theater and like watching it on the screen, going, "Did he just say the same line from Jurassic Park?" Like,
it was
trying to make that a thing.
It was too obvious, and it did not work. I mean, it worked because it was a summer blockbuster. You're there to have fun. You don't care that it's kind of stupid, but it did not work in the terms of like the film itself.
It was so silly.
I definitely think that movie was a moment in time. It does not hold up, in my opinion, but it was great when it came out.
What,
sure.
ID4? ID4?
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, honestly, though, I wished it would happen right now, but,
Bill Pullman as the president, Harry Connick Jr. as the fighter pilot, Data from Star Trek Next Generation as a scientist in this thing, and then you got crazy
Talk about
boy.
typecast, by the way.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then you got crazy Randy Quaid as like the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the pilot's like, "Yeah, I was abducted by aliens," and everyone's like, "Oh, he's crazy." And then aliens show up. And everyone's like, "Oh, there's aliens," but they still think the guy's crazy. I don't know.
It's kind of rude, to be honest.
It's a very right. So what did I miss on your summer list?
Literally the only one you missed on my list.
I did pretty good.
You did great. The only one you missed is Endless Summer.
Wow, I don't think I got it.
The surfing kind of documentary, but not really. From I think '64.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it was one of the first times that white surfers had gone to around the world. They went to Africa, they went to Australia, they of course went to Hawaii and their native Southern California, and surfed in all these different waters and talked about what the surf was like, what the local people were like, what the experience was like going there with your surfboard. Because especially in Africa, they just had no idea what a surfboard was in some of the places they went. And it was so good because they got like the other, people there to start trying surfing, but they grabbed pieces of tin roofs and started surfing on like, corrugated metal and stuff like that. And it's a trip, but it's a really fun movie. There's no plot at all. It's a voiceover the whole time, and it's kind of funny, like little snarky bits, and they make fun of themselves a little bit and show some great surfing, really great surfing.
Got to see that surfing. Yeah.
If you're into just like a chill, I just want to watch people surfing around the world in the 60s, it holds up. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, and I still have a fondness for it every time. So highly recommend Endless Summer. And you should get it on laserdisc, because I'm sure.
All right. It's on the wish list. I will put it right at the top.
All right.
Yeah, got to get that. Surfing, sun, all that good stuff, man. Yeah, it's a nice hot summer. I'm enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it.
Hot indoor, no touching anybody summer.
Nothing says summer like laser discs and zero greenery.